Elizabeth with the Art of Cherishing Home, and today we're going to be making some Portuguese inspired Hawaiian rolls. So I have some ground turkey breast, but you could use ground chicken if you want. You could also use whatever meat of your choice. I think so. You can use linguiça. I think linguiça would be really good, but my husband doesn't eat pork, so we're gonna use an alternative to pork, and we're gonna use turkey breast because that was what was on sale. The other thing, this would slap so hard if I had some St. George cheese, but alas, any Portuguese store is about 30 minutes away from me, so I'm not gonna drive all the way to the Rua for the comida of the Azores. So we're going with what we got. So I'm going to use some sliced Swiss. You could use whatever gauge cheese of your choice. So I have some Tia Maria Portuguese seasoning with Piri Piri. If you have the Portuguese version of this, use it. Okay, this is what I got, so I'm going to use this instead. This is chili garlic sauce. Then I thought this would go really well with this. If you don't like this, then don't add it. That's up to you. But I thought flavor profile that this would really go. Then I have an onion and some Portuguese olive oil. And then I have some Hawaiian rolls for the pão. Okay? So I'm going to start off by cutting up the cebolla, and I'm going to use olive oil to caramelize the onion. So I went ahead and cut my onions, and I'm going to add them to my olive oil. Go ahead and pour some olive oil into your frying pan. I'm going to let it heat up until I can smell the olive oil to add the onions. Go ahead and let your onions caramelize. Now that my onions look pretty caramelized, I'm going to add some salt and pepper to them. Salt and pepper is to taste, so it's as much or as little as you want. Once this is done cooking, you're going to set it to the side. In the same pan, you're going to add a little bit more olive oil. You're going to wait till the olive oil is fragrant. I already went ahead and cut up 4 cloves of garlic. I have some bay leaf here, and I'm going to add garlic and bay leaf into the olive oil. And I decided I wanted to add a little cerveja. So typically you would use a white wine, but I don't have any white wine right now. I know, bad Portuguese, bad. I smell like olive oil already. I'm gonna go in with 2 bay leaves and just put my garlic in. Don't want to burn the garlic. I'm going to go ahead and add my black pepper right now. I'm going to add my chili garlic paste into the pan. You can add as much of this or as little as you want to this. It's up to your taste buds. Know this, it's not for the weak. It can be spicy. You've been warned. I'm going to go in with my ground turkey now, and then I'm going to add the Piri Piri seasoning. So I like this a lot. So we're going to go a little heavy-handed on that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and break this up, and I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning. So I'm going to let this cook a little bit more, but I decided I want to add some lemon, and I don't want to add in the beer yet because I don't want it to boil. I want it to be like crispier. I added a little bit more salt and pepper and a little bit more of the Piri Piri seasoning, and I turned the heat up more. I'm going to save the other half of the lemon to add into the mayonnaise, and then I'm going to open up the beer, and I'm not going to use that much alcohol because it needs to cook out and I don't want it to boil the turkey. Okay, so it should start to be browning, and then I'm going to add half a lemon juice. I'm going to do 1/3 cup of the alcohol in and let this cook out. You could use wine if you want, but this is what I got. I'm going to let this cook down a little bit so it can get in there. Be careful on the salt and the seasoning, because if you do it too much, it could be salty. So just a heads up. I believe the alcohol has cooked out. I'm going to remove the bay leaves. I did this so it could have a bit of like, bufana taste. But, of course my husband can't eat pork, so that's why I'm doing this like this. Now I got my pan. I decided to change out my pan. I'm going to take my palm, so your Hawaiian rolls, I'm going to cut it in half. Your oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to cut my bread in half now. It's been cut in half. So first, I heard you. Wait. Okay. So it's cut in half. Now we're going to layer the cheese, the meat, the onions, everything. You know what I realized? If I don't put like butter or manteca on the bottom of this, that it's going to be dry. So I'm going to put a stick of butter in the microwave, and we're going to put half of that butter on the bottom of that before we put the cheese. Sound good? Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. If you want to use olive oil instead of butter, be my guest. Okay. Now I'm going to put my sliced Swiss cheese. If you have access to St. George cheese, use St. George cheese. Okay. But it's an acquired taste, and I do like it, and it definitely tastes better fresh when you're in the Azores versus like when it comes to the States. Just because it tends to get hard and it's not as fresh. But when it's in the Azores, oh my god, it's so good. It's very strong taste. So it's an acquired taste. Layer our meat on top. If you couldn't guess by now, I do not have a recipe. This is my own creation. I'm Portuguese American. So yes, I'm going to add some American aspects to it. I know if you're from Portugal, you pretty much keep it simple. But whatever. Okay, so I'm going to do sun-dried tomatoes on top, because I feel like it needs a little bit of a oomph. Okay, so I'm going to add on top. Did I add the whole can? Yes, I did. If you don't like to match, don't put it in. I'm going to add my savoy on top. Because it's Portuguese American, I'm going to add some Dijon mustard because I feel like it's going to be dry. Okay, and then I'm going to dress up the mayonnaise with the lemon and some piri piri sauce because I can. Okay, so I'm going to spread out the Dijon mustard. If you don't like Dijon mustard, use whatever you like. It's your food. You do you. So I'm going to put some mayonnaise. I'm just going to eyeball it. And that's the amount of mayonnaise that I put in here. I'm going to grab the other half of that lemon that I cut earlier and go ahead and put it in. Extra, I put a little bit of beer in here just because I don't have that much left to like get it to come out. But you do you. Do whatever you want. I think it's going to cook out, so it should be fine. Now I'm going to mix. I'm just going to use... Okay. Hopefully it's not too watery, but we'll spread it out. I didn't want it to be dry either. Okay. You know, if you just want to use plain mayonnaise, you can do plain mayonnaise. If you want to use like the Portuguese mayonnaise made out of milk instead of eggs, you do you. Okay, now I'm going to spread this on top. Did I decide last minute that I wanted to add more cheese? Yes. Did I put more cheese? Yes. Do you have to? No. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to flip it over and put it on top. Just be careful with the amount of salt that you put in this because, you know, the butter, the cheese, the seasoning, it all adds up. So I'm gonna put the butter on top. I'm gonna stick it in the oven, uncovered, for about 30 minutes. Okay. So this is what it looks like after 30 minutes in the oven. I hope you try it and tell me what you think of it or what you modify. I'd really like to know. Please subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye!